itself, the people have been exhorted by Castro to push back the invader, and 300,000 militiamen have been mobilized. The invasion was successful in its early hours, with Castro, of course, blaming the U.S. Is it the first chink in his armor?
Sobre la cuestión acerca de si la lucha armada es el único camino para la liberación, lo que puedo responder es que, por lo menos en las condiciones de nuestro país, no había otro camino. Y en nuestra opinión, en las condiciones de la inmensa mayoría de los países de América Latina, no hay otro camino que la lucha armada. Y esa parece ser la situación también en muchos otros países de Asia y de África.
Cuban rebel leader Fidel Castro and his ragged force in their mountain stronghold, made shortly before fighting erupted in all 6 of Cuba's provinces. This is the band, numbered at about 1,000, that for 16 months has held out in the rugged Sierra Maestre mountains near the island's eastern tip. Ill-supplied, they make many of their weapons in crude jungle workshops. Mines and grenades made here have proved as unreliable as they are makeshift. One of Castro's most potent weapons has been the mimeograph. Pronouncements and propaganda have circulated throughout Cuba by pamphlets and by radio, despite secret police efforts to stamp out the underground. Castro himself has become a figure of legend in the 16 months since he invaded Oriente province from a small boat. The rebels' actual achievements were few for most of that time, but by mere existence and survival, Castro's force has both grown and exerted an influence out of all proportion to its size.
Outside Havana's presidential palace, hundreds of thousands rally at the call of revolutionary leader Fidel Castro, who estimated their number at 1 million. Most of the throng wears the colors of Castro's 26th of July movement. They are in an exultant mood as the man who overthrew the Batista dictatorship calls on them to approve the public trials and executions of pro-Batista figures guilty of war crimes and atrocities. The executions, some 250 to date, have been widely criticized by many as too hasty and summary, even if justified. Says Castro, the Cuban revolutionary government has no reason to offer explanations to America or to anyone except the people of Cuba. Castro asks his audience if it favors the summary court-martial, and he gets his answer in a roar of approval. Cuba has spoken. Despite outside protests, the executions will continue.
Your name, sir?
My name is Robert L. Patches,
Where do you live?
Levittown, Long Island.
What is your impression of Fidel Castro?
Well, I think after 7 years of dictatorship and murder and economic ruin that he can come in there with the leaders behind him and bring the people up with their own talents to liberty and economic progress. With that, he can do a job.
Do you agree with his policy of executing many of his former opponents?
If most of us would look at the record and see the torture and the murder that Batista committed, we'd agree with that. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
And you think it's okay? You think the two wrongs might make a right?
Well, I think that it's better to have trials short trials where people have been accused and given a fair trial instead of the murders that Batista committed.
Thank you. May I have your name?
Dorothy Frager,
Where do you live?
Fort Lee, New Jersey.
What do you think of Castro?
I think that if he follows through with the plans that he says he will follow through, I think he will be an excellent example of modern democracy. However, I have one objection, and I did see him on the street the other night in front of the Times building.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he should come dressed like a gentleman like the other government representatives do.
You think he should wear a tie and perhaps a jacket, huh?
Yes, I do. I really do. This leads to the contention that he perhaps might be looking for this power and remain a powerful leader and a dictator rather than coming as an emissary of his government.
No, Cuba will never move backward. Cuba will not retreat. She will not submit. Fidel Castro makes this declaration in New York before the General Assembly. The people of the Soviet Union are on Cuba's side, says Nikita Khrushchev. Cuba has incalculably more friends than enemies.